Greetings everyone from sunny Cartagena, Colombia. My name is Taylor Love, and today I'm going to be casting a little light on the 4 stages of a Lifeafar Airbnb investment project. The goal is that by the end of this video you understand A, how our investment strategy works, and B, how at each stage of the process we deliver value to you, the investor. Let's take a look. Stage 1, the acquisition, the bedrock on which any quality investment is built. We buy undervalued buildings in popular tourist destinations. I'm here visiting our newest project, Cartagena Bayside Suites, so I'm going to be using this as our example. Right now I'm sitting on the deck of a famous fish restaurant called Club de Pesca, which is located about a block and a half from the Bayside Suites in a neighborhood called Manga. Now, there's a lot of real estate options in Cartagena, so we're going to talk a little bit about why we decided to buy here. We look for buildings that we can convert into mid-size Airbnb hotels, which left us 3 adjacent neighborhoods to scour: the old walled city of Cartagena, Gethsemane, and Manga. I'm going to pop over really quick so I can show you the 3. All right, kicking off the grand tour. I'm on the battlements of the old city of Cartagena, overlooking the Caribbean. So the old city of Cartagena is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which means you're looking at tiny, charming little streets like this. You're looking at bougie cafes, museums, restaurants, fancy shopping. Basically boutique Colombia at its finest. Absolutely everything in this part of town is spick and span, which also means that it's the most expensive real estate in Colombia. So any building worth buying is going to run you between $3,000 to $4,000 a square meter. And next up we have Gethsemane. This neighborhood's a little bit more of a backpacker mecca. Personally, I prefer Gethsemane to the old city. Don't get me wrong, the old city is beautiful, you have to see it, but you can tell that it capitalizes a little harder on the tourism that the cruise ships bring in, which leaves Gethsemane, its next door neighbor, feeling a little bit more authentic with its one-story buildings covered in vines, the bars, the cafes, the hostels, the plazas where old men who have nothing to do all day play chess. However, just because it's authentic does not mean it's undiscovered. Forbes magazine recently ranked Gethsemane the 6th coolest neighborhood in the world, and real estate here is still going to run you between $2,000 to $3,000 per square meter. And we're back to Manga. I'm walking along the promenade right now, which is about half a block away from the Bayside Suites. So Manga is a tad different. For starters, unlike the old walled city and Gethsemane, there's no wall, which means there's a better breeze and you can actually see the water. Manga is a safer, more affluent residential area with a bustling marina and popular seafood restaurants and parks. And no one trying to sell you anything. Seriously, that makes a huge difference after a couple days. However, it's still reasonable for an investor to ask, hey, why are you putting my Airbnb hotel in a residential neighborhood when you could put it in a UNESCO World Heritage Site or Forbes 6th coolest neighborhood in the world? And the answer is because you can hit those neighborhoods with a rock from here. Seriously, that's the wall of Gethsemane. And real estate is half the price in Manga, half the price of Gethsemane and a third of the price of the old city. We acquired Bayside Suites for $1,000 a square meter, which is just an absolute no-brainer. So how does this generate value for you, the investor? Well, when you buy your hotel for $1,000 a square meter and some dude 300 yards up the street buys his for $2,000 a square meter, you now have room to compete on both price and quality. You could offer a similar quality of room at a lower price per night, or you could offer a higher quality room at a similar price per night. And now you've got all the business. To illustrate my point, I'm staying here in one of our finished projects, also in Manga. This room has 2 beds, 2 baths, a decent sized living area over to my right, a kitchenette behind the camera, is tastefully decorated, and rents for about 80 to 90 USD per night, depending on the season. This hotel room, about a 5 minutes walk from here into Gethsemane, is about a third of the size, boasts 1 bed and exactly 0 windows, and you can rent it for $240 a night. So we're able to offer a higher quality product at a lower price per night, and that is only possible when you pay the right price for your asset in the beginning. So you can then understand why a well-run acquisition stage is crucial to the rental success of your investment property.
But in order to make more money, we first need to spend more money, which brings us to phase 2, the renovation. We're about to head over to the Bayside Suites to see what a pre-reno building looks like. All right, so here we are in front of Bayside Suites. We are half a block down from the Cartagena, which is the Colombian version of Whole Foods, and 2 buildings down from the marina. That's it. All right, so now I'm inside, and as you can see, we've already done a little bit of structural due diligence with our engineers. We rip out the ceiling to make sure they're not selling us lead pipes. We take a chunk out of all the columns to make sure the concrete is properly rebarred. Only slightly more exciting than rebar is the view from what will be the penthouse terrace here. We got the marina down below, the bay, and then a big chunk of Cartagena over on the horizon. Had to throw the shades on, it is too bright. When we send the team in, there isn't a whole lot of wizardry going on because generally the bones of Colombian buildings are good, so we're doing mainly cosmetic work. But one important thing that we pay close attention to is the maximization of space. For example, this terrace down here is a complete waste of space. Why is it a waste of space? Because this building is allowed to be 5 stories tall, and that terrace is 4 stories tall, which means we can build it up to 5 stories, put the terrace on the top where it belongs with the penthouse, and then we've got 2 more rooms down below that can generate revenue for us. Space maximization is probably the largest value add that our team brings to the renovation process. For example, if we kept the space behind me as one large unit, it'd probably have 3 bedrooms. It would rent, but it wouldn't rent for nearly the same amount as if we chopped it up into 3 smaller units. Same with this big old backyard that was being used as a dump slash parking garage. We're gonna turn this into 2 whole rental units and 3 patios so that some of the first floor apartments have outdoor space. The other big value add in small, efficient rental units is you end up with diversified streams of cash flow. For example, if you owned a building with 4 units and one of them didn't rent in 1 month, you would be kissing goodbye 25% of your dividends for that month. However, if you owned a 13-unit building like this one, and one of them didn't perform for a month, you'd have 12 others picking up your slack. So overall, you'd end up with a less volatile and more profitable investment. All right, that concludes part 1 of this video. In part 2, I'm going to be discussing returns.